What's good, y'all? It's your boy Nino. Welcome back to the podcast. And if you're new to the podcast, don't forget to beat that like button up to help out that YouTube algorithm so we can share this with everybody. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode of In the Know with Nino. And today's episode, as usual, is brought to you by Loudberries Clothing at loudberries.com for the 420 clothing enthusiasts. Get all of your 420 related clothing at loudberriesclothing.com, and by NCognito Investments, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. And today's intro song is Gucci Bag by ABGG, the Anybody Get It gang, Shyse, myself, and the ABM gang, my man Yella. You know what I mean? You can check out the full song at youtube.com, and at the end of the episode, Gucci Bag by ABGG, the Anybody Get It gang. And if you would like to have your music featured on an upcoming episode of In the Know with Nino, be sure to drop your music in my email at ninoincognito@gmail.com. I'll give it a listen, and if it's on point, I'll show it some love. Now let's get on with the show. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Nino. Welcome back to the podcast, episode number 8. Yeah, man. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the new Netflix show, Cuties, Cardi B and Offset actually getting divorced, and the new Black Wall Street, Georgia, that they're supposed to be building down south, which I'm kind of excited about. But first of all, we're talking about this the new Netflix movie, Cuties. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to say to watch it, not to watch it. That's not really the point while I'm talking about this, because I actually haven't seen an episode of it. I saw the little previews on it, and I saw the description of it on Netflix, and I was like, oh, okay, it's one of those, the young girl want to dance, getting into the street kind of trouble, blah, 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 blah. Not really my cup of tea. I'm not really my cup of tea, you know what I mean? But the next day, I started seeing like all kind of posts, not just on Facebook, but on Twitter, Instagram, people talking about that they're going to cancel their Netflix subscriptions because Cuties. For some reason, they're getting out of Cuties that it's promoting sex trafficking, young girl exploitation, and some kind of other, sexual predatory perversion, I guess, that they would say to people watching that because they're perverts and they just want to see little 14-year-old girls twerking and all that kind of stuff. And they were going to cancel their Netflix subscriptions because of Cuties. And my point to that is, canceling your Netflix subscription because of one TV show is like throwing out a whole bucket of popcorn because one kernel was burnt. Just pick the kernel out, don't eat it. Like I said on my Facebook page, if you don't like Cuties, don't watch it. If that's something that's not your taste and all that kind of stuff, just don't watch it. There's a whole bunch of other stuff on Netflix that you can watch. And I'm not only talking about this as a Netflix user myself, I'm also a Netflix stockholder. Let's just get that out the way. I do own stock in Netflix. And it did touch me a little way. I'm a shareholder in Netflix, and it did touch me a little way when people started talking about that they were going to cancel their whole subscription because of one show. Really? Would you cancel your whole cable subscription because HBO shows pornography? They have Cinemax on there on cable. You still watch cable, don't you? You just change the channel, right? So I thought that was kind of a moot argument, and then it just started trending. It started catching on. And then it started affecting my stock. That's what I was really tripping on. Like, man, really, y'all better stop with this. Look. If it's something, don't go overboard with the reactions. If it's something on either Netflix or if it's something on regular cable, if it's something on the radio, if it's something in the movie theater, if it's something on there that you just don't want to watch, don't watch it. You know what I mean? You don't have to cancel your whole subscription and start telling people cancel their whole subscription to this, that, and the third. And you're not going to watch cable anymore. You're not going to go to movie theaters anymore because they showed this movie. Just don't watch that movie and it'll go away. That overreaction of I'm going to cancel my whole Netflix subscription because of Cuties is really, and I think it's really from a lot of people who haven't even actually watched the TV show, watched the movie. Y'all haven't even seen the TV show, seen the TV show. Most of them talking about, oh, it's exploiting little young girls, got them doing that twerking and got them. Oh, but y'all was cheering Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion on and all that stuff. Watch them videos, Selena Gomez and all the Ariana Grande, all these little young girls. Beyonce, she was 16, 17 years old, talking about my jelly and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But everything was cool with that. Nobody wanted to boycott Beyonce. Nobody wanted to boycott, Cardi B, none of that crazy stuff, or even Megan Thee Stallion, till they thought that she, was kind of swinging down there a little bit. I'm glad I'm glad that blew over. You know what I mean? But I think that was just a real serious and crazy overreaction, that people started trying to trend on Facebook, talking about that they were going to cancel their whole Netflix subscription if they didn't take Cuties. Just don't watch it. That's how Netflix works. If nobody watches it, if not enough people watch it, it's going to get removed. Because I know it's a whole bunch of shows that I like, that I used to like to watch, like Married with Children and a couple other series. They were on there that not a whole lot of people watch. They got taken off. Not enough viewers. So if it's not enough viewers, there's not enough people watching it, it's going to be taken off. But stop encouraging people and telling people to, cancel your Netflix subscriptions and all that kind of stuff. Like I say, don't throw out the whole bucket of popcorn just because of one burnt kernel. Which kind of brings me back to my next, to my next point about, the little young girls looking up to Cardi B. Cardi B has actually filed for divorce now against Offset. A lot of people are talking and thinking that Cardi B and Offset were going to be the next Jay-Z and Beyonce, but you better do your research on how Jay-Z and Beyonce got together. That's a whole show that's a whole topic for another show right there. You know what I mean? But, if anybody knew anything, you saw anything coming about this, you knew these two wasn't about to be no power couple like that. Cardi B told me she just gave Offset like $500,000 for his birthday. Offset throwing like cars back at her for her birthday. But he out there, doing his thing. He out there touching other chicks and all that kind of stuff. And she out there on TV talking about her wet her chang is. You know what I mean? So, she's out there with it. So, I really can't see how those kind of, I know it takes all kind of people to make couples. It's somebody for everybody, but not at every time. Sometimes it's just not the right time for some people to be together. Maybe when she gets through being, through her thought phase or whatever, or whatever you want to call it, maybe it'll be a good time for her to be married, you know what I mean? But, especially Offset as well. You still in your prime, you know what I mean? You still young, but you still out there making money. You still around there, still wanting to throw things around and all that good stuff. Well, just do it. You know what I mean? People are getting married for the wrong reasons. People getting married because they think it's cool, because they think it's going to win them cool points with their neighborhood, with their family, with their, that kind of stuff. But they're really not ready to do what it takes to be married. Take it from me. I've been married going on 18 years. This year, 18 years. You know what I mean? And it is work. Every day it is work. Anything that's worth having, you work at daily, not annually. You got to work at it daily. I'm telling you, and it has been some times, boy, when your boy wanted to throw in the towel, call it quits. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like anything that's worth having. You got to work at it. That's why more than half of marriages fail. Because people are getting married for the wrong reasons. They're getting married because of the trophy of it, because of the idea of getting married, because it looks good. They can say they have a wife. They can say they got a husband and all that kind of other stuff. When you're really not ready to do it, you still out there going around there looking at girls' butts, trying to flirt with your groupies and all that kind of good stuff, taking girls backstage and all that kind. So don't do it, man. If you still got the fire in your loins, as my mama used to say, you still got the fire in your loins like that. Don't disrespect nobody else by, trying to get married and attaching your life to somebody that you're really not ready to be attached to. Same thing with Cardi. If you want to be out there, be thought of the century and talk about how much WAP you got and all that good stuff, blah, 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 don't get married. What kind of example is that you're setting for your daughter? What are you telling her about how to maneuver and meander in this world and how to get along with men? I don't know what their relationship was going on, except what was going on in the news. All what was going on in public. You know what I mean? Offset cheating, doing his thing. She's on camera showing her thing, doing the baby, walking the baby in high heels and purses, looking like a little midget grown up. You know, and I think that can be bad for kids. But, that's just my personal opinion. I ain't raising nobody else's kids. Drop the mic real quick. But like I said, that's just my opinion. I'm not raising nobody else's kids but my own. It's just with me. But when it comes to marriage like that, anybody, you saw that coming. Don't tell me you didn't see Cardi B and Offset getting divorced. They wasn't about to be Jay-Z and Beyonce. I was hoping they wasn't going to turn into Ike Turner and Tina. For real. But, God bless them. Hope they get their thing together and go about their, separate ways and still be able to maintain cordiality and be able to raise their daughter, to be a functional adult. You know what I mean? Because, when them Hollywood stars start having kids, oh my God, look out. So see what happens with Cardi B and Offset in the upcoming weeks and how this divorce kind of plays out. Also, and speaking of Atlanta, because she filed divorce in Atlanta, in Georgia, matter of fact, in Georgia. I don't know if it was Atlanta. I think it was like Savannah, but it was probably somewhere around there. But it was in Georgia. But have you heard about Black Wall Street going down in Georgia? Like 90 families, a whole bunch of families, 19 families, I think, went and bought like 90 acres or whatever it is, trying to start a new Black Wall Street down there in Atlanta. And man, kudos. I hope it works out. I hope it's something that I can invest in. For real. I'm not going to uproot my family and move on down there. Not just yet. We're not going to take it that far. But if they do open it up and then make it eligible for people to actually invest in it and invest in the businesses down there and invest in the stock market, black-owned banks and business, man, I'm all for it. So I hope that they do that. They bought a whole bunch of anchorages, but I hope it really doesn't turn out like the Oklahoma Black Wall Street. If you haven't heard about that, we've tried this before. Well, we tried to separate but equal, the separate but equal phase of it and tried to build our own community in Oklahoma. It was called Black Wall Street. It had all black-owned businesses, black-owned banks, whole black communities, but predominantly black, and it got bombed. First time, a bomb was set off on American soil on other Americans, and they burned it to the ground. They tried to say that a black man whistled at a white woman and kicked it off, but they were just angry. Racism was rampant back in those days, which is not too long ago. I don't want to say back in those days because it wasn't that too long ago. It was the 1900s. Believe that early 1900s. And they bombed Black Wall Street. They did it in Philadelphia as well. The police dropped bombs on the black community. And for the first time, the aerial bombs was dropped on American soil on black people in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. So do your research on that Black Wall Street, and see how that works out. But I do wish the people down there in Georgia well. I mean, if you get the opportunity for people to invest in that, if you got those kind of job opportunities, if you're really looking for people to try to promote that and people to come and join that community, send me some information. Nino NCognito at gmail.com. Send me some information. I would love to find out more about what's going on down there in Georgia with that Black Wall Street. I'm going to do my due diligence and do some research and keep y'all up to date on that. But that'll do it for today's episode. Don't forget, if you want to have your music featured on an episode of In the Know with Nino, you can send your music at my email below at NinoIncognito at gmail.com. I will give it a listen, and if it's on point, I will show it some love. Big up to my man Ahmad Harris, AJ, CEO of Loudberries Clothing. For the 420 clothing enthusiasts, check out all the 420 clothing at loudberries.com. I'll catch you next time. Peace.
Later, Shyse out for his peso. Move when I move, talk when I say so. Still the KID, but they screaming money Kastro. No Nazi Dale, no shanking asshole. Yeah, make that bounce, ho. Psycho derangement, but though I get mental, stick to the game plan. Higher than an airplane, stay lower than worse than dirt sand. Keep over that motion, pushing, no turn back, reversing. Now that's right here, for certain will hurt them. Now let's go and bang out. Evil, I'm reppin', New York, I'm claiming Midwest, yo, respect it.